Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module leader for TECH3022 Social Media Practice, and this is the summary overview video for the 20th lecture, which is entitled Academic Evidence. And what I want to do in this session is look at the report writing process, which we've been looking at in recent weeks. We've looked at the critical thinking issues in terms of how we approach problems and issues and what we're, kind of expecting in terms of how to evaluate processes and challenges. Then we've looked at the report structuring process and how we use a report and what its practical function is. And now what we want to look at is what kind of evidence we can use within those reports in order to be able to support and sustain our arguments. At the moment, there's a lot of moral outrage, if you like, about the fake news issue. And the whole idea that some people are saying that this is real news and some people are saying that that's fake news and vice versa. And kind of, it's easy to be drawn into this discussion to say that this is a fake news agenda. What does that mean? And I think it throws up some important issues which we can look at as a kind of way of identifying where we need to be as a verifiable and trustworthy process of academic investigation, which is based on transparency, openness, sharing our findings and our evidence, and using reputable investigation techniques that bring evidence forward, which is something that we can it can be recognised as plausible and useful in the limited circumstances in which we're operating in. So that, very different from the fake news agenda, which kind of says, just believe us, just take us on trust. This is how we say it works. Trust your gut feeling, those kind of things. If somebody says, we know what we're saying, what you're thinking, then invariably it's a fake news discussion, if you like, because what they're not doing is revealing that there's a way to collect information and data and facts and evidence about what you're thinking and what they're thinking. And actually the two things are always separate. What they're thinking is never not what you're thinking. So anyway, we'll get pulled into a different discussion about this. So the whole process of the academic process of investigating and providing evidence is founded on the principle that we engage in a conversation, is that we contribute and we provide and support information which is relevant to our social concerns. But it isn't just based on our own subjective opinions. It's important that we're part of the process and recognised as part of the process of evidence gathering. But it's not just something which can be applied because we say it can be applied. It has to be something which others can see and engage with. Now, is there an ultimate point of truth with this? No. I mean, we're looking for something which is plausible at this point and moves us forward in a small way. So it's kind of, we clear a patch and then we identify that there's a whole load of other problems that we need to deal with. Now, we can look at our academic endeavours, if you like, as something which is about problem solving, and that's very important. But there's another factor which we should really take into consideration, which is problem posing, and the idea that in dealing with our problems and solving our problems, what we actually do is we open up new problems. Can we anticipate what those problems might be? And can we convince other people that these are the right problems to be heading towards, if you like? So we need evidence to be able to support our claims that this is the direction that we should be heading in. So what is it that we use within the academic process that enables us to do that? So there's a kind of process which is recognised generally around the world, which is the kind of the academic process. Now, this process can be open to abuse, if you like, and there's plenty of examples of experts, and we've covered this in this module in terms of experts who promote and support kind of the use of sugar, despite evidence that sugar is harmful and sugar is leading, one of the leading causes, and excess of sugar is one of the leading causes of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. The tobacco industry in the 50s, 60s, and 70s employed a lot of experts who, despite the evidence, still kind of said that yes, smoking's safe as long as part of a balanced smoking regime. Yeah, you don't need to worry about getting lung cancer. It wasn't true. The financial imperatives that came with the tobacco industry funding academic research, if you like, reduced its level of objectivity. Let's put it like that. It took them off the kind of objective path, if you like. And the objective path, which is crucial for the academic process, is you have to be able to say where your evidence has come from and how you've tested your evidence and on what basis you're making your assertion. So our evidence is not a black box. It's not a self-contained unit where something magic happens and we just have to take it on trust. We always ask the question, how did you arrive at that point of view? How did you get to that decision? What was it that informed you about the evidence that you gathered? What techniques did you use to gather the evidence? So it can be very important and essential for us to be able to lay out the evidence that we've gathered and to use that appropriately. Now, our subjective experience in this actually can be quite important in the way that we account for our evidence. And things like the difference, which we've discussed about the difference between qualitative and quantitative forms of evidence gathering, and we're using the ethnographic approach of evidence gathering, which is, people-centered. We're not measuring and calculating and categorizing things, as important as that is. What we're doing is we're observing and we're describing the social processes that engage people as not like rats in a lab, but as lived experience. And I think it's really crucial to be able to use our evidence gathering techniques to do that ethically and to do that responsibly, so that we're able to share our data, our findings, with people in a much wider context. And I think it's going to be really useful. The information and the data that you find out from your practice as social media activists is something that I think people would want to read about and find out about. I think there's a valuable contribution, but has to be an open and transparent contribution that shows and demonstrates how you find out. I mean, we don't have to agree with our conclusions. We can agree to disagree, but if we're sure that we're working from a verifiable form of evidence base, that's the process, and we can argue about different inferences and different points of view as much as we want to. We can engage in debate and discussion, but it's built on solid methodological findings, groundings. So the notes for this session are up on the DMU Commons wiki. Just go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk and search for the TECH3022 pages. If you want to carry on the conversation, go over to DMU Talk and start a new topic or join in with an existing topic at talk.our.dmu.ac.uk. But otherwise, I'll see you at the lecture.